Okay, so I haven't done a disclosure guide video in a while, so I figured I would do a new one. So this is a template I usually used, especially back in the beginning when I was very nervous and I was very unsure on what I wanted to say. So this is a hot take that gets me in trouble a lot, but I liked waiting until the third date till I got to know the person just like a little bit before disclosing to them that I had herpes. I wasn't planning on sleeping with them anyway until the third date because that's like the national average. Of course, there were times I did sleep with someone sooner, and of course I disclosed sooner, but I'm just talking about what my norm was. So usually after 2 good dates and you start planning the third date, naturally in conversation, the hookup conversation happens where like you start planning, oh, where are we going to eat? And afterward, would you like to come back to my house to like Netflix and chill, to meet my cat, whatever it is. So I usually wait until that part of the conversation happens naturally and I'm like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. I'll bring the popcorn. But before I come over, I just want to let you know that I have HSV. And then I would say 1 because I have HSV 1, but if you have HSV 2, you just put the 2 in there. I've learned that herpes has a very negative connotation and stigma attached to it where HSV leads to questions. So my exact script I used to use every time was, I have HSV1, I've had it for a blank amount of years, it's been blank amount of time since my last outbreak, I know pretty much anything and everything about it and I'm not embarrassed to answer questions, so please feel free to ask me anything about it. And then I would kind of leave the ball in their court to see if they have any questions, what the questions were, stuff like that. I found that information dumping kind of gives them like information overload and they don't know really how to react to it and they don't have room for questions because they feel like attacked. The way you disclose is an extremely personal matter, so I like to disclose over text message. I know that a lot of people don't like doing that. Some people rather do it in person, some people rather do it over the phone, some people rather do it over FaceTime. Do it whatever means of communication feels most comfortable to you. So however you normally communicate, don't make it a big deal. So if you and this guy have only ever really texted and you're not a phone call person, by you calling them, it kind of makes it seem like it's this drastic major thing where if you just text them, it's just kind of like, all right. But if you're a phone call person or if you're an in-person person, like if that's what makes you feel the most confident, then do it that way. The only thing I will say about in-person disclosures is the other person will have a facial reaction and you need to be prepared for that. There's been a bunch of times where I've disclosed in person and the person's face like just twitched or did something and I would panic that this was going badly even though it wasn't. I had one time where a guy legitimately got out of the car and did a lap and came back in. He said, I just didn't know how to react and I didn't want to react poorly. We ended up dating for a month afterward. But as long as you're disclosing your herpes status before the other person is ever at risk, you are doing it correctly. There is no correct way to disclose. It's whatever way that makes you feel the most confident and calm. If you come at them with the, I have herpes, it's the worst thing ever, the person's going to mirror that energy and be a little bit more wary about it, where if you come off cool, calm, and collected, they're going to be like, oh, this isn't that big of a deal.